Tonight, a local family is left with more questions than ate in these waters. And what investigators uncover next will shock this entire town.
Her husband's own brother left her a 7-minute voicemail by accident, recorded 3 days after her husband's funeral was scheduled. The only problem? Her husband wasn't dead yet. Before we begin, tell us in the comments, have you ever found out the truth about someone by accident? Drop it below, we read every comment. Claire Whitfield had built her life the slow, careful way. 22 years married to Daniel. A house on Maple Cove Road with a porch that faced the marina, 2 grown kids who called every Sunday, a husband who ran the boat repair yard his father left him, who still opened her car door, who still remembered their anniversary without a reminder on his phone. People in town called them the couple that made it look easy. What nobody saw, what Claire herself barely let herself see, was the quiet strain underneath. The marina had been losing money for 2 years. Daniel had started taking calls in the garage with the door shut. He'd lost weight. He barely slept. Claire told herself it was just stress. Every marriage has a season like this, she thought. You ride it out. She had no idea she was about to ride out something else entirely. It was a Tuesday in October when the call came. Not from Daniel, from the harbor patrol. Daniel's boat had been found adrift, engine idling, no one aboard. His jacket was folded on the seat. His phone was in the cup holder, screen cracked, battery dead. 3 days of searching, divers, a helicopter, the whole town holding its breath along the shoreline.
I'm sorry, but we found no evidence of foul play.
On the 4th day, the search was called off. She went home that night and sat at the kitchen table with a stack of paperwork she never thought she'd need. A death certificate application, a funeral home brochure, a life insurance policy folder she didn't remember him ever showing her, for $1.2 million. Grief has its own strange schedule. Claire moved through the next 2 weeks like she was underwater herself, picking a casket she didn't need yet, writing an obituary for a body that hadn't been found, sitting across from a funeral director named Mr. Hargrove, who kept calling Daniel the deceased in a voice so gentle it made her want to scream. It was during one of those meetings, Thursday, 2:14 in the afternoon, she'd remember the exact time forever, that her phone buzzed in her purse. A voicemail. 7 minutes, 11 seconds. From her brother-in-law, Marcus. She almost didn't listen. Almost. But something made her step into the funeral home parking lot, put the phone to her ear, and press play. And that single decision was about to unravel everything she thought she knew about her marriage.
I told you, the policy pays out in 90 days once they declare him legally dead. No, he can't just walk into a bank. Are you insane? He has to stay at the cabin until this blows over.
Claire's blood went cold. Him. The cabin. Her husband, the man she'd been planning a funeral for, was alive. She sat in her car in that parking lot for 11 minutes without moving, playing the voicemail 3 more times, making sure her ears weren't lying to her. They weren't. Daniel was alive. Hiding. And his own brother was helping him fake his death to collect $1.2 million in life insurance. Money that, as it turned out, was meant to cover a gambling debt Daniel had been carrying for 3 years. She didn't call the police. Not yet. She didn't confront Marcus. Not yet.
You want to know the strangest part? Angry yet. I just kept thinking, 22 years. I let his mother cry on my shoulder. I organized his funeral. The whole time, he was drinking coffee 40 minutes away.
Instead, Claire did something that surprised even her. She got in her car, and she drove toward the one place the voicemail had mentioned, a hunting cabin on Route 9 that belonged to Marcus. But halfway there, she stopped at a gas station, sat in the parking lot, and made a different call first, one that would change the entire shape of what happened next. She called her cousin, Renee, a paralegal who'd spent 11 years working insurance fraud cases before switching firms. Renee didn't say, "Call the police right away." So Claire didn't drive straight to the cabin. She drove home, found Daniel's old laptop, and, hands shaking, started looking. Bank transfers to Marcus, a prepaid phone bill and a name she didn't recognize. A folder titled, chillingly, Plan B, last modified 8 days before the boat was found empty. 2 days later, with the folder printed and a small recorder in her coat pocket, Claire drove to the cabin alone. Daniel answered the door in a flannel shirt she'd bought him for Christmas, thinner, unshaven, and for one terrible second, relieved to see her. What Daniel said next wasn't the confession she expected. It was something far worse.
Claire, I can explain.
You have 5 minutes, and I already know most of it.
Daniel admitted the debt, admitted the fake drowning, admitted Marcus had helped him disappear. But then he said, the thing that changed everything.
Marcus was supposed to wire me my half once the claim paid out. 2 days ago, I found out a fiduciary form, one I never signed. He was never going to let me come back at all.
That was the moment I understood. This was never a plan between brothers. This was Marcus's plan, wearing Daniel's face. And Daniel, as much as I wanted to hate him, had liability intended to make disappear for real.
The recorder in Claire's pocket had caught every word. 2 nights later, when Marcus arrived at the cabin, believing he was meeting Daniel alone to finalize logistics, he found Claire sitting at the kitchen table instead, recorder on the table between them, and a private investigator Renee had quietly hired parked outside. Marcus's face went white.
This isn't what it looks like.
It's exactly what it looks like. And in about 10 minutes, so will the insurance company's fraud division.
The claim was frozen before a dollar ever moved. Marcus was charged with conspiracy to commit insurance fraud. Daniel avoided prison by fully cooperating and testifying. But the marriage that survived 22 years of ordinary hardship didn't survive this. Claire filed for divorce 3 months later, kept the house on Maple Cove Road, and sold the marina. She didn't rebuild her life out of rage. She rebuilt it out of clarity. Some people fake their death to escape their problems. She used the truth to build a better life than the one she thought she'd lost. This is Whispered Tales, late and undefeated. What would you have done in Claire's situation? Let us know below. And if this story kept you watching till the end, subscribe, hit the bell, and tell us where you're watching from. Part 2 of this series drops next week.